Very good morning to you, and thank you for joining us on 360 Sports. Of course, we go 360, just not football and other games that are familiar in Nigeria, but we go tennis, we go boxing, and if time permits, we can go wrestling as well. Thank you for joining us. My name is Martia Umar. It's another beautiful day to talk about sports. And of course, we'll be having a guest joining us virtually this morning as we will be analyzing all of the happenings in the world of sports. What happened yesterday, and we'll be looking at matches that will be going down today, who's slugging it out on the pitch or in the ring today. We'll get to talk about that later on the program. So let's start with handball. Of course, the Prudence Energy Handball Premier League is ongoing in Lagos, and we have a lot of people there cheering them up. People who love handball have been trooping into the stadiums to watch these young stars play handball. And of course, we can't forget the Kano Pillars are still top in the league, and we will see lots of energy from the men and women category. Let's take a look at the matches that have gone down. It's match day 10 in the Prudence Energy Handball Premier League, and of course, we have the men and the women's category. In the men's category, we have the tables. Of course, we still see Kano Pillars at the top, but there were matches that were played in match day 9. We have Safety Shooters, of course, slugging it out with Police and Machine. It was 21-17. 17 points for Police Machine and 21 points for Safety Shooters. We also have the likes of Rima Strikers and Confluence Stars in action. It was 21-20 points in favor of Rima Strikers, and we have Niger United as well as Seasiders Boys. They were in action as well, and it was 34-35. 35 for Niger United and 34 for Seasiders Boys. And then Benue Buffaloes were in action. They actually kept an unbeaten run in the last two matches. It was 28-23 against the Owena Kings. The Owena Kings lost about 5 points. We're down 5 points from the Benue Buffaloes. Also, the women were in action. The women also, did what they could. We have Safety Bays, who is who are top in the league. They're doing their best to show that they are the champions of all time. They were in action with Benue Queens. It was 36-15 in favor of Safety Babes, who picked up 36 points. And then Rima Queens and Plateau Peacocks were in action as well. 26-24 points in favor of Rima Queens, and Imo Grasshoppers were in action with Defender Babes. It was 27-23 points in favor of Imo Grasshoppers. In the coming days, we'll see United, the Niger United and Kano Pillars talk it out. Don't forget that Kano Pillars are still top in the league, and they might be crowned champions in few days to come when we say goodbye to the Prudence Energy Handball Premier League Phase 2 happening in Lagos. Now, let's see if we can go through some of the matches yesterday away from handball. Let's take a look at the matches in the CAF Confederation Cup, not forgetting that we have two teams represented yesterday. It was Plateau United and Rivers United. We also saw them in action and how they were able to defeat their opponents without mercy. It was a ruthless campaign for the Nigerian team in the CAF Confederation Cup. We have Rivers United and Plateau United. Of course, Plateau United scored, both of them scored 9 goals, but Rivers United had 5, and we saw a Nigerian side, Rivers United, trashing Al Nasri of Libya 5-0 in the CAF Confederation Cup playoff on Wednesday, while Plateau United thrashed 4-1 Al Akhdar on the same day. So the Pride of Rivers will hope to complete the job when the return fixture takes place in Libya on Wednesday, November 9, 2022. And the winner of both ties will book a spot in the group stage of the continent's second-tier club football competition. The game will hold at the Matthias Stadium, Benghazi in Libya. But at the MK Abiola Stadium, of course, Mustafa Yuga and Ifeanyi Emmanuel scored in the first 20th and 24th minute. It was just a 4-minute interval for Plateau United. So the score remained the same until the 75th minute when Albert Hillary made it 3 for the Peace Boys. And the visitors, however, got one goal back 10 minutes later. The second leg of the game, that is the game that happened yesterday on Wednesday night, will be on the 9th of November. It will happen at Libya, with the winners earning a spot in the group stage of the competition. And we wish them well as they are progressing to the next stage of the CAF Confederation Cup. Let's connect to our guest who is patiently waiting. Okay, we'll get straight to him later. But there's been a controversy going on in the NPFL. Of course, we've gotten a date for the NPFL. Yes, the day we'll talk about that later. But there's been a controversy in the NPFL where we have the cases of match fixing. There's been a viral video going around about Auwalu Babajada fixing a match, and that sparked a lot of controversy. He has been suspended from all football activities in the country as we speak. And, there's this video about him speaking in Hausa language, how he fixed the match for Kano. A match that was played between Wiki Torres and Kano Pillars. And what was his reason? He was talking about not allowing a particular team get into relegation. So according to what he said, I'm quoting him right, he said, "We were the ones that influenced or fixed Kano Pillars match against Shooting Stars in Kano because we want Lobby Stars not to get into relegation. Between me and Lobby Stars, there's only God that can separate us." He also went further to say that, in fact, any town that has Premier League club, and aside MFM, which is in Lagos, the only town that I don't have any friends that I can send people to him and coordinate in Nigeria. So that has been sparking a lot of reactions lately as a NPFL max fixing, which of course is one of the biggest offense when you talk about football. We've seen the likes of Samson Siasa, who has been accused of match fixing. Of course, they're still facing that penalty till today. And we also have him now being suspended indefinitely from all football activities in the country. And moving on, let's talk about some of the matches, of course, that will be happening today. UEFA Europa League is up. We see the likes of Arsenal and Zurich will be slugging it out today. And let's see what will happen at the end of the day. Let's take a look at the table. We have Arsenal and Zurich will be playing later in the day. We have Bodo Glimt and PSV Eindhoven, and then Dynamo Kyiv and Fenerbahce will be in action. Rons and AEK Larnaca, Real Betis and HJK Helsinki, Roma and Ludogorets Razgrad, and Sporting Braga Malmo FF will be in action as well. Union St. Gillois and FC Union Berlin will also be in action. We also have more teams coming up as we will have the likes of Manchester United today in action in the UEFA Champions League. And more yet to come. And let's see how this matches turned out. In the other table, we have Real Sociedad and Manchester United, Sharif Tiraspol and Omonia Nicosia, FC Midtjylland and SK Sturm Graz. We have Feyenoord and Lazio, FK Karabag and SC Freiburg, Olympiacos and Nantes, Monaco versus Stal Belgrade, and Trabzonspor versus Ferencvárosi TC. So those are the matches that will be happening today at the in the UEFA League, which of course a lot of people were anticipating, especially Arsenal and Manchester United fans. Some people have been tipped, or somebody are tipping Arsenal or Manchester United to clinch the title later, or probably Barcelona and the likes of Juventus, who have made their way to the Europa League, which of course we are expecting a lot of competition, a lot of action, thrillers, and yes, let's see a different Europa this time around, and let's see if we have a better view of the Europa, much more than what we used to have later in the past. So let's connect to Jeremiah in Lagos, and let's talk about some of this sporting activities that has occurred, the ones we're looking forward to later in the day. Thank you so much, Jeremiah, for joining us on 360 Sports. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me around. Good morning, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining. So let's start from the Confederation Cup. We saw the likes of Rivers United and Blackpool United made us proud yesterday. It was a double celebration for Nigeria. How would you rate the match yesterday, and what do you think it's going to look like for the teams representing Nigeria in the CAF Confederation Cup?
Yeah, thank you very much. For me, I felt that those clubs they've learned in the hard way. We know that when it comes to CAF inter-club games, it's the team that scores higher, that scores more goals, are the ones that are likely to progress to the group stages. And scoring 5 goals in Port Harcourt and scoring 3 goals difference. I mean, 4 goals with conceding one in Abuja. I think it's putting Nigerian clubs, that's Rivers United and Plateau United, respectively, in a comfortable zone till they play in Libya. Now, for me, this is not the first time Rivers United will be scoring 5 goals on the continent after suffering the biggest defeat of their life. That's 6 goals in Morocco. And also for Plateau United, this is their first time as well scoring 4 goals. So now they will actually, for them to lose at Libya right now to 6 goals and 5 goals respectively, that means we should just end the league. We should just end we should just end everything, because right now they have every chance to progress to the group stages because of the goals advantage they have at the moment. And however, it will look very, very, very disappointing if they concede 5 goals, at least 5 goals, even in Libya. Not to even talk of conceding 6 and getting eliminated from the competition. For me, it's a good one. They've learned their lessons, and if we discovered that there was no any promises that was made for these boys before they went to play, there was no any dollar rent, there was no any naira rolled out for them. So it really shows that we can actually show professionalism even without being promised some huge amount of money. It's just for us to play for the image, for our badge, and for the respect of our clubs. So it's something that I really respect that, and I was so excited for what they were able to show. They've actually shown that North African clubs, what you need to do against a North African club is to score goals. No one cares about the beautiful football you want to play. You just have to score more goals as much as you can. If you can score 10 goals at home, score 10 goals, then you know that you're going to expect the worst. While the match against Rivers United were ongoing around 2 p.m. yesterday, some of Al-Azi, Benghazi, they were like, when you come to Libya, you're going to face more problems, because they believe that when you come to their home ground, they are always ready to serve them out. So and this thing we actually witnessed, the Rivers United witnessed when they played Wydad Athletic in Morocco, and also Quara United, where they suffered humiliation in front of those two teams, RSB Bakane and Wydad Athletics. So it's something that for me, it's the only antidote to progress to the next round is just to score goals, which Rivers United started on a very good note. But I think the only problem Plateau United might be facing is conceding that only goal, which might halt them. But with the way they played yesterday and with the way they played in their subsequent matches, their previous games, I think they have a better composed side than to progress to the group stages. All they need is just not to concede even 2 goals in the first half. If they did not concede 2 goals in the first half, I think they have a chance of moving to the next round.
Okay, so we wish them all the best, as they will be doing us proud. I hope that they will be doing us proud. Regardless, from the performance yesterday, we can see a green light at the end of the tunnel. But moving to NFF, NFF suspending Auwalu for match fixing. Match fixing in the game of football, any other game, it's a very grave offense. What would you say to the suspension? Is that sanction good enough?
Thank you very much. This is in this issue. There are many Auwalu Jeddas in the Nigerian football ecosystem. We have so many, and I think it was just unfortunate to be victim of this, to be caught. And probably maybe you wouldn't know. Maybe you wouldn't know that someone was there taking videos. I think some 2 years ago there was somebody, I think an Aqua United former I think assistant coach Remy Amadi, who was suspended for 2 years for match fixing. We have the likes of Samson. I think I was speaking with a player yesterday, and he was telling me that there are players who some CCS actually told to bring certain amount of money so that they can get to play. So this is not only exclusive to only Auwalu, Babajeda, because who is he? Clubs. That means the club, most of this man knew about what he was or what he intended to do for them. So which means he's not only the one that is actually guilty in this net. There are many other, including the club chairmen, including club administrators, who as well at one point Auwalu had actually helped them. Like what he said, that Wiki Tories he wanted to help them. That means probably maybe Wiki Tories their administrators who actually know a lot of things about what he was doing, and several other clubs, like where he said Kano Pillars, he actually feed Shooting Stars and the likes. So these things are something that, for us to have a clean football ecosystem, it's not just only one person. That means there are so many people that when you look at the chain, the chain from Auwalu downwards to other, you would notice that from the highest to the lowest, there are many other persons that have as well been involved in this charade, in this illicit and unsportsmanship activity. So it's something I think that Auwalu should not be the only one to be investigated. They should get to talk. Okay, who are the people that you've actually helped? We should get to know them. They should be sanctioned. Now, Samson Sese, with the way how he had performed in the past, that thing has actually marked his career as a football coach. So that's another thing again. So when we get a more penal punishment for these persons, I think that will actually caution anyone that wants to attempt, or anyone that was not caught, to stop. You understand? So I think that's another one. You suspending, and I think that investigation should be done as soon as possible before people forget everything that has happened, because these things are bound to happen. Before you know it, you'll just discover that a lot of things you've forgotten about it, and before you know it, in the next 2 years, Auwalu is contesting for maybe a CAF position, or even in the NFF position. So that's another thing again, that I think that the investigation should be done, and the punishment should really worth it if he is found guilty. Because another side of that story could actually be that maybe Auwalu was just actually jam talking. Maybe he did not. Maybe he did not even do up to what he even said he did. Just to boost his ego. And that thing is actually bound to, just where we see politicians, when they tell you that, okay, we've done this, we've done that, just to make people feel how important they were. Because that video, when I saw it, it was as if he was speaking to footballers there, players there, and maybe he was just trying to show them how important or how powerful he is. And from there, he lost himself in that talk that actually led into that. For me, he might not have done exactly as much as what he said. I did not say he did not do it, or he cannot do it.
So
but
when
I'm
you
just
look
saying
at the
that
statement,
I've actually done something, not as much as that.
Jeremiah, when you hear the statement from the viral video, he was so peculiar about Lobby Stars. He was fixing a match between Kano Pillars and Shooting Stars for, let's not see Lobby Stars get into relegation. Now, when you're sanctioning these people, are we supposed to sanction just Awal Baba, or we're supposed to sanction Lobby Stars? Because there seems to be a connection. Could he have been contracted to do this?
Yeah, thank you very much. By the time we start checking all these things, we'll discover that some players that were actually given golden boots did not deserve it. Because one of the ways by which match fixing in Nigeria is very key is by giving unworthy penalties at the dead minute of the game. Maybe we have seen incidents whereby penalties are given at the 80th minute, 89th minute, where game actually would have ended in a bargain draw. So when you look at those things, from there we look at the player that played that penalty. Definitely, by the time you remove 2 or 3 penalties from his goals, definitely you know that maybe this person was not even meant to be the highest goal scorer. I'm just saying, for example. Now to look at Lobby Stars, as at match day 15 or towards, Lobby Stars were floundering at the bottom 3. Likewise with the likes of MFM FC, And I think then they were having issues with Kano Pillars as well. They were not really doing well. And people were like, okay, Lobby Stars might even relegate. Katsina was even above Lobby Stars. All of a sudden, they just shoot up. We started getting away points on the road, picking points on the road, winning at all costs at home, And before everything got it, the last game, that's the last fixtures where Kano Pillars and Shooting Stars. If Shooting Stars were at the down that they needed the likes of Lobby Stars to win so that Kano Pillars will relegate. Katsina United as well too. They were actually looking up to that encounter. So there were about 2 clubs that there are tendencies that they might even relegate even on that match day. Aside from MFM, who had been confirmed relegated after they suffered defeat to Sunshine Stars 2 weeks before. So Katsina United too tried as much as they could. That is one of the reasons, a controversial game that against Raymond Stars, where they said they used extra 30 minutes in that match. That was a game where I think Raymond Stars actually scored, and they cancelled the cameras of that club of Raymond Stars were destroyed, and the likes. I think Mark the Pundit actually shared it on his Twitter.
And they were fined at the end of the match.
Yes, and they were fined at the end of the match because Katsina wanted to avoid relegation. Dakada FC too were there. Dakada too as well. They were like thinking of avoiding relegation. They had to play. I think they played at home to.
Okay, we cannot hear you, Jeremiah, but we hope to connect with you again very, very soon. And aside that, the match fixing, of course, there were matches that were played yesterday. One that stood out for a lot of people was the match between Chelsea and Dynamo Zagreb. It was a scary one at first when Chelsea couldn't score a goal, and then Dynamo had to score first. But it ended in favor of Chelsea, and all the other interesting matches that occurred yesterday. It was really interesting in the UEFA Champions League. That's one league that puts a lot of people on edge, and it just goes a long way to show who the champions from different leagues all across the world are. And we've seen other sports being occupied in the last round of 16 for the UEFA Champions League, and we're looking forward to see what happens in that stage. But today, of course, it's going to be the UEFA, which we are looking forward to. And of course, there are other things that we would discuss, but we will have to shift them to when we come your way again at 5:30 today on Trust TV. Remember, it's 360 Sports. And of course, we go around to give you some of the sporting events and the stories that are making the rounds on a daily basis. My name is Martia Umar. I would like to say thank you to Jeremiah Oguntimei, though he's not with us right now, network problem. But thank you so much for your analysis on today's edition of 360 Sports. We'll see you again. Thank you for watching.